Alright guys, we're gonna figure out hopefully a Bobcad issue here, or at least bring one to attention. We do all of our design work in TurboCAD since I've been using it for 20 plus years, and it's a lot quicker for us to do it in here than to try and do it in Bobcad. So this is a cross section of a pulley that we make. So obviously if we take this and revolve it around here, oops, if my mouse wants to work. If we revolve this around here, it gives us our pulley that we make. So anyways, this is just a 2D DXF file. We can see all the contour points and everything, so it's got nice arcs and everything in all of the locations, as well as a couple sharp edges and corners, things like that. So it should be pretty easy for Bobcad to understand this particular file. So we're going to go down and we're going to open up. So we're going to start completely fresh. I'm going to go open this file up as a DXF, go all the way from the beginning and start from there, so that we can see that there's nothing sort of left over from a bad, this should be the file here, nothing left over from sort of a bad file or anything like that. So our fixture, we have a 2-inch ID fixture that holds these pulleys once they're backboard. So we have our Z origin starting here at X0 for lathe. We're going to go over here, we're going to go to turning, we're going to go to our big Nakamura, we're going to hit up our stock wizard. So this is on a 3-inch diameter stock, and our Z origin is right about 0.5, and we'll go a little less, we'll go 0.4 since they're pretty accurately cut. We're going to go our length, we're going to go 3.5, and that gets us just past the part. So perfect. Face diameter, everything looks good, and we have no internal diameter, so everything's good there. So we're going to blank our stock, and then we're going to go into turning tools. So we have a Fanuc 6T control, and this post we've gone in and edited a bunch to make it work with this particular machine, since it's a G50 machine, but we do a couple different things to make it work for what we need to do. So we'll go into tool crib, get rid of automatic tool numbering. I don't even know why this is an option unless you have a machine that's got a bajillion tools, but oops. So we're going to go import, we're going to go down to, come on, if it wants to go here, oh, and it's going to, oh, there it goes, CAD files, we're going to go to big Nakamura. Alright, so we don't have a lot of tools in this machine. It's only a 12 tool turret. So we've got our CNMG, which is just our typical roughing finishing insert for most of our turning. We've got a boring insert, which is actually an end mill, which we don't have in there right now. This is the big one that we use, this VNMG. This is what we use to cut all the pulley grooves. So if you can see, it's mounted in a vertical orientation with a 0-degree offset. And then we've got 2 drills. We've got a 1-inch drill and a 1/2-inch drill. These 3 tools are the ones that give us the most amount of problems when it comes to posting. And then we've got a CNMG mounted on a boring bore. So this one does our internal features and things like that. So that's really all we have in here for this particular part, and we don't need anything else to finish this. So I'm going to run through here real quick and get everything set up. We'll post it out and see what it all ends up. And I'm not going to go spend a lot of time getting our feeds and speeds and everything perfect. I'm just going to run through all the setup and get everything sort of finished out here. So we always end up adding about 0.25 to our facing operation, just so it goes past center. We're going to do a rough only, but we're going to do so everything looks good. We'll leave that there. Everything's good there. The one thing I don't like, so we're going to give ourselves 0 finish allowance. 50 thou depth of cut's fine. One of the things I don't like about Bobcad is when you go home position Z, I can go 1, it'll actually go to Z1. If I go home position X, if I give it a 2, it will actually go to 4. So this should say home position X radius, not home position X diametrical, because that's where it actually will go when we post out. And remember this, so this is tool number 1 and home position X. So we'll check that when we get to that point of actually posting the code, and maybe we'll do that real quick here. Leads are all fine, so we'll go compute, and there's our finish. So comes across, skims, over centers, perfect. All right, so now if we go post and we scroll down, it goes here, it goes Z1, which is what we told it to do. We told it to go to X2, but it goes to X4. So if we have a large diameter part, and what we used to do is we'd have, we have about 14 inches of swing on this machine. If I had a 7 or 8 inch part and I told it to go to X8, it would try to go to X14, it would over travel the machine, and so on and so forth. So I don't know why it does this, but it's very frustrating. So, and I've tried to look in the post-processor rules to figure that out, to no avail. So anyways, so we're gonna just name this end face. Oops. My OCD likes everything in caps. And now we're gonna do some turning. So we're gonna do the OD feature. So we're gonna basically grab all of this, if I can actually grab it all at once. We're going to grab all of this, we're going to zoom in, we're going to grab this guy, this arc, these two, and that's it. Alright, so that looks like that should take care of all the OD features. And this is all going to be done with tool number 5. So we're going to add an extension onto the end, so we're going to go 0.1, so that it goes past our finish of our part. We're going to do a rough and a finish. We're going to do it in separate moves, because this machine does not like can cycles. And we're going to go to our tool crib. So we're going to go to our finish. We're going to grab our tool number 5 and all the orientation. Everything looks good on here. We're going to click OK. Again, we're not going to mess with too much feeds and speeds right now. And then we have our system comp. So we're not going to use machine comp at all. So we're going to use our system compensation to offset for the tool nose radius. We're going to leave collision detection off because we don't technically need it right now. There's no feature that's going to get in the way of where the tool actually is cutting. Oops, we're going to go, I like to do zigzag just because it saves lines of code, and it also helps with the tool wear. It always cuts on both sides rather than just one side of the tool all the time. Depth of cut will go 0.75 since this is a diametrical depth of cut, so you're only going to be cutting, what is it, 38 or 36 thousandths here if you're doing 0.75 diametrical. So finish allowance on Z we'll leave a little lower, and then finish on X. Since we're cutting such a deep little groove in this pulley section here, I like to not leave a lot of material for it to cut. So we're only going to leave about 2 thousandths there. Corner types are round, obviously. Everything else looks good here. And rapid approach, same thing here. So if I was to leave this alone and I was to go Z1, X5, it's going to go to X10, which is fine, but it's excessive. So we're going to go 2.0, so it'll go to X4, which will clear our 3-inch stock. Same thing here on the leads, it's fine. Same thing again, we're going to go to tool crib, we're going to go to finish, tool number 5, and notice how our reference point for this tool is actually at the tip of the radius. We've touched off and verified this tool to match that, so that's what we use. So it says tool number 5, no override offsets, everything's fine here. So we're going to keep going through. No allowances on the finish, and again 1 and 5 not what we want, so we're going to go to 2, and then we're going to go, everything else looks good, and we're going to go compute. So now we've got our roughing and our finishing done. We're going to blank these out just so I can double check and make sure each one looks good. So what it does is it kind of comes in this little groove and does a little wiggle back and forth to get down to the depth, and then the operation for the finish just basically runs through the whole thing, starting from the front, going to the back, and then this 0.100 extension here is just to clear the part. This little radius is actually done when we do the operation number 1, where this part is flipped the other direction. So so that all looks good. We'll get this back here, and we'll see if it messes up. So if we go into machining order now, it says 5 and 5, which is normal for this part. So if we actually open the old file, I've already got this one done that we've done a million times here. So similar, we have a couple different parameters here. Same thing, we've got our pulley grooves done as number 5. So if we double check and we say tool number 8 and tool number 9, so why is this doing this? This is our big issue. So if we go to finish, we have our tool number 5 in here, we have our tool number 6 and our tool number 7. So why now, when we go to tools and we go to finish, they're called out as tool 6 and tool 7. There is no tool number 8, tool number 9 anywhere in here, yet for some reason this says tool number 9 and this says tool number 8, even though they are the same as tool number 5, other than for some reason the tool nose radius changes, and that is something that we have not messed with. So that does not make any sense. So let's go back to our other one here. So we're gonna say pulley grooves. Oops. Okay. And then the other thing we have to do is do a drilling operation. So we have to drill a 1/2 inch hole and then a 1 inch hole, just to, normally we do it on the first stop, but I'm going to do it on this one just so we can see it. Normally the hole is drilled all the way through already. So we're going to go lathe hole. We're going to just select this because we don't need to go very deep. So we're going to go 0.500 for the diameter. Top of the feature, we're going to go 0.4, and then we're going to go, let's say, 1 inch deep. Rapid plane, everything looks good. Is a through hole, so we're going to go hole. We're going to go just drill. Separate moves is fine, and then it pops up 500 diameter, tool number 8, which is correct for our particular setup. Everything looks fine. We're just going to kind of run through this one. Rapids, and then this one really messes you up because Z5, if we have a drill sticking out of our turret and a length of 5 inches for our home Z, we actually will crash into our center, our tailstock. So that's not a good thing to have. I know there's a way to change it in the actual tool table, but I wish this would say something about X diametric rather than radius, so, or X radius versus diametric. So we're going to go 0 because we're doing a drill. We don't need it to be anything other than X0 for the home. So unless your home is negative in Z from where you actually pull out of your part, then you could crash into your part. So be aware of that. So we're going to go compute. We see our little tool path down here, which is fine. So we're going to go 0.500 drill. Oops. And sorry, my keyboard is acting up. So we're going to go there. Okay, and then all we're going to do is just going to go copy. We're going to go paste. And then we're going to go drill 1.00. Wow, time to get a new keyboard, I think. Okay, so now we're going to go geometry, same thing. We're going to reselect this little guy. Okay, and we're going to go to edit. So, same thing. We're going to go diameter. We're going to go 1.0. Top of feature 0.4. Total depth 1. And then it should know already that we're using a 1 inch diameter and tool number 6. So I'm not going to mess with any feeds and speeds. Single depth is fine. Rapids, same thing. Since it's copied over, we're going to go compute. So we've got that and it's active. So now we've got tool number 8. So we have tool number 1, tool number 5, tool number 8, and tool number 6. And eventually I'm going to switch these so that they actually go in order. But if we go to machining order, that all looks correct. 1, 5, 5, 8, 6. Perfect. And let's see if it does it. So if we go to post and we go down to our drilling operations, there's another one that's sort of a conundrum here. So our first drill, our tool number 8, our 1/2 inch drill, so everything works normally. Machine homes, 3500 RPM is a little excessive, but that's fine. Tool number 8 for turret, and then we call our tool offset with the G50 way of programming. So we've got our X0, which puts us on our center line. We've got a Z1.4, which is 1 inch over our 0.4 beginning of our drilling operations. So everything here looks fine. Then we go to our tool number 6, which is another drill, and we're missing something. We have no X call out. So we've had this where we've had drill bits hit the chuck. We've had all sorts of bad things happen because for some reason we are not getting a command for X0 to put the drill on center line. So I don't know why it does this, but every time I post out any kind of operation with a drill, there's usually at least one X missing. So it perplexes me to no end. So let's see if this posted out. So this is all tool number 1 here, and this is tool 5, and then we should say tool 5 again. And then I have a note, the way the post processor is set up, it at least puts a note in here if it's running the same tool for a second time, that it just says something so I know where it starts, rather than going through and actually homing it and doing a standard tool change type beginning of operation. But for now, all of this looks fine. The biggest thing is trying to figure out, and you can see this is the same, we're still editing the DXF based file. If I tried to save this right now, it would error out because you're trying to overwrite a DXF that's already open in another program. But if we go over to the one that we actually run in production, our production environment, and the post processor is all the same, our turning tools, so if we go to the tool crib, same deal. We don't have automatic tool numbering selected, but for some reason it throws in all of these extra VNMGs. And again, see, it says 6 and 7. If we go here, if I compute these again, see how it shifted everything over, because now it's trying to use the other tool, which doesn't have, well, now it's turned for some reason. So if we go to tool crib, we go back to tool number 5, and all of a sudden tool number 7's gone. And our holder looks completely different than what it should, and it's also got a different radius. So if we go 0.0313, and we want our, everything's good there, and then we want our reference point. Where's our reference point? There it is, tip. Perfect. Okay, so we go next. Let's see. Okay, everything's safe. Sometimes if you go next and then previous, it changes a bunch of stuff. Everything looks good there, so we're going to go forward to our finish pass, select tool number 5 again, and all of a sudden we have tool number 6 and 7 back. So why is it continually not saving? I'm editing tool number 5, save it as number 5. Don't make another tool number, because now if I go back here, it's made it tool number 8. I don't want it as tool number 8. So if I go override offsets, but I can only offset the register number, I can't offset the tool number. So if I go to tool number, and wait, all of a sudden now it's number 6. Oh, now it's number 6. Now it's number 7. Now it's number 6 again. Like, what the hell? Can you make up your mind? Even if I number it number 5. Here, let's give it an arbitrary number so we can keep track of it. I'm gonna give it tool number 13. Even though we only have a 12 turret tool holder. Okay, we're gonna go 13 again. 13. Okay, and number 6. So what the hell? This is why, one of the reasons I've been very hesitant to go from version 30 to version 34. I have 34 installed as a demo, but for whatever reason, I spend more time going in and manually editing code than I should be, because if I post this out, and it may work for the first couple times that I edit this program, if I have to go back in and mess with speeds and feeds or whatever, all of a sudden it'll start doing this again, where all of a sudden now we're getting random tool numbers and everything. So if we go, so we've got tool number 1, which is our end face, and then all of a sudden we're down here with tool number 6, which is our roughing pattern. And we'll get down, same tool again. So it did, let me see, it actually did stay with the same tool number, but those might actually be different tools. So let's see, pulley grooves. Let's see what it says. So this is a completely wrong angle VNMG, and again, even though it's the same number, it's still a completely wrong angle. So the math is going to be completely incorrect, which is why nothing is centered now. Remember how we talked about our tools are referenced from the tip. So this is now referencing at the corner, and if we turned collision detection on, it would miss a bunch of this because the tool would be kind of coming in and trying to clip some of these corners off. So I don't know what it is. It's done this on both our 6T post and our 0T post, and for the life of me, I've never been able to figure out what it is. And obviously tool number 11, our boring bar, is fine as well. That's just going in and cleaning up our bore here. So, but note if we go, let's see, if we go post and save as again, oops, go post, let's see if it changes the number. So that's still the tool number 6. So if we go and actually try to correct this, if we go into here, we go to tool crib, we go to finish, we go to tool number 5, and I wish there was a modify in here, because normally on milling, if I modify something, it'll say, hey, would you like to save this for all applicable tools? And it doesn't let us do that in here. It just changes it and then changes the tool number. So if we go 0.0313 and we're using our tip, it should say, okay, that's what they're doing now. So and we're gonna change this video test finish turning just to see what it does. So everything here is correct. So our tip, our angle, our shape, our clearance, our tolerance, everything's good. IC diameter, nose radius, yada yada yada, everything's fine here. Tool number 5, offset number 5, custom angle, which angles our insert to not sit flat against one of the flanks. Perfect. So we're going to save, we're going to go next, we're going to run through all this, and then same thing here. So we've got a very large number for here, so we're going to change this, and then we're going to go here, and now if we select our same tool number 5 that we've used before, for some reason we just told it what tool number 5 is here, but now it says it's tool number 8, and if we go to tool number 5, it selects the other one again. So I don't know what the hell the deal is, but it's extremely frustrating, and maybe they'll fix it one day, or maybe they fixed it in 34, but until I can get some sort of a verification of that, it is what I have to deal with for right now. And hopefully that brings a little bit of light to at least some of the issues that you guys might have on 30, or maybe you figured out a solution or whatever. But if anyone has any things to try to fix it, it's also done this on multiple computers, multiple different installs of Bobcad. So we've tried to eliminate as much stuff as possible. So anyways, that's all for now.